All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honors to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. All right, this is the Priest of Zion one with another edition of GMS News and Prophecy. And I have an article here from the military.com. Okay, and its headline: U.S. gets no commitment from NATO for help on Iran threat. Okay. So basically what's been going on is the U.S. and its NATO allies have basically been going back and forth dealing with Iran, mainly with the nuclear deal. All right. Maybe I believe about 2 years ago, at this point, America had pulled out of the nuclear deal that it had with Iran, but other countries in NATO and the EU stayed on board, and they're basically trying to get, trying to, keep ties with Iran, because of the fact that they buy certain things, from their countries and the oil and all of that. But the U.S. has constantly put sanctions on Iran, and they're saying that Iran is a threat. So, the U.S. and NATO have basically seen things differently in this situation, which is causing them to basically pull apart from each other. And that's among other things. Okay, also the U.S.-China trade war, because Europe also does trade with China as well. Okay, and I believe even Trump, the U.S., has even threatened to put sanctions on certain of their own European allies, okay, because of this situation. So there's tension going on within the U.S. and NATO, and that's your beast system. Okay, this is the beast that's spoken about in Revelation, and also that fourth beast, okay, that revived Roman Empire is now being broken up, okay? And there's been all kinds of different situations that's been breaking this alliance up, and this is just another one of those situations, okay? So the tension between like I said, the NATO allies in America is building up, which is biblical prophecy. Okay, so I'm gonna read some of this, and then I'm gonna get the scriptures. Okay, now it says this. It says, now this is dated June 28, 2019, the year of Karagma, and this is from Brussels. It says, NATO allies gave the U.S. no firm commitments that they will participate in a global effort to secure international waterways against threats from Iran. Acting Defense Secretary Mark Esper said Thursday, wrapping up his first alliance meeting. Esper said the U.S. would come back next month and provide reluctant allies more details on exactly how the Iranian threat has escalated in recent months and how nations can work together to deter further aggression. Right? And, what's been said through the grapevine, all right, for those in the know, is that Iran, or the U.S., is getting ready to attack Iran, okay? And there's certain reports and things, and I'm sure they say Israel is going to attack Iran, and the U.S. is going to follow behind Israel and help Israel once that attack happens, okay? Because if Israel attacks Iran and Iran retaliates, it's a must that the United States act. And they're already seeing Iran as a threat, and this is what we're seeing in the article here. Okay, so they're trying to get their own allies to back them up, but it's not going to happen. And this is biblical prophecy. Okay, because it's prophesied that America's own allies, the beast, okay, those are part of NATO and the EU, are going to shoot nuclear missiles and destroy America with these missiles through nuclear fire and burn this place up. Okay? So I'm going to go and I'm going to get the scriptures. Now this is Daniel 2:40. It says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise." And this is talking about Rome, which has extended unto today. Pursuant to Revelation the 13th chapter, it says that the deadly wound that Rome had, pagan Rome had, was healed, and it was rebirthed through the Renaissance into what you see now as the United States and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, okay, or NATO. And it's through the military might that the U.S. and NATO have basically broken and bruised and destroyed all these other countries that have been in subjection to it for years, especially the United States. Okay? Now this is verse 41, and this is key. It says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." Okay, so this fourth kingdom would eventually become divided. Now, that's already started pursuing this Brexit situation with Britain, okay, and the other EU nations, which all those countries are a part of NATO, all right? But even now, we're seeing even further breakage, okay, or division between the U.S. and Britain and the other NATO countries, okay? Even though together they're strong militarily, all right, but economically they're weak, okay, and politically they're weak, all right. Trump just went over there to Great Britain to meet the Queen recently, and that was pretty much a dud trip. You know, it wasn't something of fanfare. Okay, most of the people, when Trump came over there in London, they despise this guy because Trump is basically, to their knowledge and in their mind, destroying this system, and he is. Okay, but that's a part of this prophecy here, division amongst these countries. All right, amongst the fourth beast or the fourth kingdom. Okay. Verse 43 says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another." And these nations are not cleaving one to another as allies like they were before. All right. Like back in the 40s and the 50s, even in the 60s. Okay. It says, "Even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kingdoms shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom." And that's what you're seeing with the Israelite groups, starting with Great Millstone, the different GMS Great Millstone camps, teaching out on the streets and doing these videos daily, all right, week in and week out, all year round, prophesying the downfall of this society, all right, the white man's world, according to the scriptures, according to the prophecy. Because as we're seeing these things in the news and around the world, things are happening, storms, and wars, rumors of wars are taking place. We're watching these things and we're filtering these events through the scriptures, okay? And that's what we're supposed to do: prophesy, okay? That's our main job, is to prophesy, okay? So it says, "And in the days of these kingdoms shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed." And that's the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, coming back to the heritage that they once had, which, today we're known as so-called African Americans, so-called West Indians, so-called Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, Mexicans, and so forth and so on. But we're being set up as a new kingdom that is going to rule, because our Savior, who the world calls England, and England calls Jesus Christ, is going to save us, because he's an Israelite. He's a so-called black man. All right? It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So this kingdom is falling apart. Okay? And that's in this article here. Because there's no miry clay has been mixed in with NATO and the EU and the US. Okay? Let's see if I can get some more of this. It's not a long article. It's not real long. Right. It's not a long article. Now it says here, all right, it says, at the end of the day, what I ask is here is near term is to publicly condemn Iran's bad behavior, Esper said as he prepared to leave Brussels. And in the meantime, in order to avoid a military escalation, help us maintain the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, in the Persian Gulf, and wherever. And this is basically after the so-called drone attack that happened between the U.S. drone and Iran shooting that drone down. So now the U.S. is going to NATO for help because they see that Iran is a threat. Okay? It says, now Esper, who didn't have high expectations for firm commitments coming in, got little of either, though he said that some allies probably expressed interest in hearing more. So basically, man, you know what these nations are saying, man, you got to prove that Iran is really that big of an issue against our own interests, you know? Because even these European allies of America, they're taking crap from America, you know? From Trump and his America first policies and things like that. So they're like, okay, man, you know, look, man, if you're saying Iran is a threat, okay, prove it to us. You know, we want to hear a little bit more. We want to see more proof of this. Because they're like, man, you know, we basically, okay, they're not listening to America's wolf cries anymore, you know? All right? Just like the old story, the boy who cried wolf. That's basically, you know, what NATO is seeing in America. So they're looking for more proof, man. All right? Hey, America, man, you got to prove all things. Okay? Because, look, man, these nations and these countries in the West, all right, the beast, all right, the EU, NATO, America, they're falling apart according to prophecy. Because this world that Esau has set up, the so-called white man has set up, is doomed to go down. Okay? So it says earlier this week, as he headed to NATO, Esper said his goal was to persuade allies that the confrontation with Iran is a global challenge requiring an international response, and that it is not Iran versus the United States. But it is, okay? It's going to be Babylon the Great versus really the whole world, along with the state of Israel. Okay? It says Esper's discussions with NATO counterparts were aimed at reinforcing the call to action delivered earlier this week by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. U.S. leaders want to build a broad coalition, including Asian and European countries, to counter the European military threat and help monitor shipping in the Persian Gulf region where oil tankers have been attacked. All right? And some are saying that it was actually the U.S. Okay? It was a false flag. So these, you know, these NATO allies are looking, you know, real beady-eyed and narrowly upon the U.S., you know, with that look of, you know, is Trump in the bullshit or not? Okay? It says NATO allies have expressed reluctance to get involved in any military effort to help secure the regional counter Iran. Europe wants more emphasis on minimizing the chances of war, especially after the events of last week when President Donald Trump approved military retaliation for Iran's strike against the drone, then withdrew the order at the last minute. So yeah, they're like, man, you know, what's going on with these guys? Okay? Esper said Thursday there is a range of options that allies could participate in, ranging from increased air surveillance and maritime escorts to the establishment of a picket line of ships to protect the waterways near the Gulf. Those ships would essentially set up a series of checkpoints in the Gulf region. All right, so this is what they have going on. I'm gonna jump down. Here it says Trump, who withdrew the United States last year from an international deal to limit Iran's nuclear program and then reinstated harsh economic sanctions, says he wants to work out an even more restrictive deal with Tehran. See, and they want to restrict them even more. And, you know, Tehran, Iran is not dealing with that. Okay? You know, so they're basically like, man, you know, the hell with your sanctions. Okay? And then Russia's backing them up. This is prophecy, all right? Ezekiel 38 is playing out right now. I just read Daniel the 2nd chapter. Okay? Second Esdras the 15th chapter goes into the Carmanians, which are the Persians, which are the Iranians today. They're going to make war with America. Okay? Babylon. It says Germany, France, and Britain, as well as Russia and China, remain part of the Obama administration-backed nuclear deal that Trump abandoned last year. The 2015 agreement aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. Iran, however, has denounced the latest U.S. sanctions as idiotic and an obstacle to talks. You know, so basically the U.S. is making it hard for a diplomatic exchange to take place. So it says in response, Trump fired back that any attack by Iran on anything American would be answered with overwhelming military force that in some areas would mean obliteration. So they're talking their crap back and forth to each other. All right. And Europe wants no part of, you know, what the U.S. has in store. It says the attacks and escalating tensions have raised worries of an impending conflict between the U.S. and Iran, but in public and private meetings, experts repeatedly pressed the Trump administration's message that America does not want war. Most partners in the room acknowledge the challenges we face, said Esper. I think they appreciate that the United States is not seeking war with Iran, that we want to get this off of a military track and onto a diplomacy track. Well, according to prophecy, like I read, that's not going to happen. Okay? And even the U.S. Allies in Nato are going to shoot missiles on America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, to destroy it as well. Okay? This is Revelation 17 and 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, with the 10 horns are the 10 toes. All right? And I read about that in Daniel 2. Okay? Same beast. All right? NATO, EU, America. Okay? It says, these shall hate the whore. So these countries that are allied with America are going to hate America as well. And we're seeing the tension being built up because they don't even want anything to do with the U.S. and the upcoming war with Iran. So it says, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's what's going to happen soon. All right, to Babylon. Okay, Babylon the Great, which is, like I said, America. All right, and also the state of Israel. Okay, because Israel wants to go to war with Iran, definitely, and America is going to be the ones to back them up. So this is Jeremiah 49 and 20, and this, you know, scripture has been being read a lot lately, according to these different news reports by different brothers in these videos. All right, in prophecy. All right, Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom. Edom is the so-called white people. All right, Esau. All right, especially their leaders, the international bankers. All right, it says, and his purposes. All right, the Lord's purposes that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Teman is over there in Germany. Okay, so even Europe. All right. And mainly these American Edomites. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, which the least of these Edomites is Amalek. All right, the so-called Jews. Benjamin not a Jew. Okay, over there in the state of Israel. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, because these Israelis are going to draw America into this war. Okay, and like I just read in the article that NATO doesn't want any anything to do with military action against Iran. So it says, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So not only is Israel going to draw America into this war against Iran, their land is going to be destroyed over there, and even America is going to be destroyed. All right, it's going to be made desolate. And this is verse 21. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall. And only what kind of destruction can move the earth through fire like that? It's going to be nuclear missiles. Okay? It says, at the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. So that's what's going to happen. All right, destruction upon America and the state of Israel, even by these European allies. Okay, NATO. All right? But with that, I'm going to end it there. All praise and glory and honor goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Devil honors the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Hope this was edifying. So next time, I say Shalom.